Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this live episode of the Around the Ropes podcast right here on the new ATI network. As always, you guys know where to find us. We're on any social media site. Just search Around the Ropes podcast or the new ATI network. Let me introduce you to my tag team partner. This Saturday, he makes his return to Ace Pro Wrestling as they make their return to Teaneck, New Jersey for Hero Celebration. And we'll get all into that. He'll also be on the call for VPW on February 17th. Creator Pro on the 18th, and so much more coming up, going into the end of the first quarter of 2024. You know him, you love him, the one, the only Sexy Ryan himself. What's going on, Ryan?
What's going on, guys? As always, it's Tuesday night, and it's another edition of the Around the Ropes podcast. Like John said, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it.
Absolutely. We do have two guests coming on, though. I do want to make a quick mention of that. At 8:30, friend of the show, owner and promoter of The Dynasty, Chris Envy, will be joining us ahead of their show, which I'm actually going to pull up the poster right now, because actually, I think I have that poster. Yes, I do. Talk all about It Was All a Dream, happening February 17th live from Empire Live up in Albany, New York. Tickets are still available. Then at 9:30, we kind of made this happen last week on the show, but it is official. Making his return after being away from the show for quite some time, the one, the only, Pete Rosado, not Pete Rosario, Papa Dank, but Pete Rosado will be joining us ahead of their show of We Are Wrestling called Don't Call It a Comeback, happening this Friday live from St. Helena Church, and we'll probably talk to him about some other stuff as well. But Ryan, before we get into what happened, how was your weekend?
Wow. I know one thing for sure, at least I'm sitting in a chair.
Yes, but we won't talk about that right now.
What are you talking about?
Exactly. But let's get into the Rumble, because that's the big thing everybody's talking about. Coming off the heels of an interesting Monday Night Raw, to say the least. But now that we've been, we're a couple of days removed from the Royal Rumble, let me ask you this. Obviously, you and I saw it live together. Overall, what were your thoughts on the Rumble itself?
So, if I'm being honest, the Women's Rumble was the best match on the card.
How so?
They had surprises.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, because you had Trinity coming back. You had Jordan Grace there.
You had Tiffany Stratton. You had Liv Morgan, who made her return. R-Truth was in the Rumble for 5 seconds.
Well, he got confused.
I thought it was funny.
Oh, that popped me. But I agree with you about the Women's Rumble. I said it Saturday night. We've been a few days removed from it, and I still stick to it. To me, the Women's Rumble, and I'm not saying this because I'm hating on the Women's Rumble, but my expectations for the Women's Rumble were not as high as the men's. And I say that because we talk about the Men's Rumble, and we'll get into Men's Rumble in a second. It was one of two possible ways they could have gone. It's almost like, here's the best way I can describe this. It's almost like WWE brought you down this path, and they said, okay, if you go down this path, Cody's going to win. If you go down this path, Punk's going to win.
It's like the Matrix. Red pill, blue pill.
Exactly. Where on the women's side, it wasn't so obvious that Bayley was going to win.
Everyone was saying Becky was.
That's what I had my assumption being Becky, because from what I had read in reports, the plan was for Becky versus Rhea at Mania in Philly.
It's still going to happen.
But I think that's where the Chamber comes into play. I like the flow of it. I like the fact that with the women's, they took you on so many different twists and turns.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you didn't know what to expect.
I didn't expect the freaking Knockouts champion to show up.
Yeah, but the one thing I like, though, is how they put over TNA.
Mm-hmm.
I really that you can tell that moment right there. We're not in the Vince McMahon era anymore.
Nope.
Vince McMahon. Yes, granted, I know Mickey James was in the Rumble back in, was it 22? I think
It was 22, but here's the difference though. Mickey was on a per appearance basis. Jordan Grace was full on signed.
Well, isn't it? From what I heard, I think the whole thing, how it all went down, was Hunter made the call on that one. From what I heard. Hey, I'm glad because if they did not have Jordan Grace in there, then I hate to say it, I thought that entire pay-per-view would have. I'm not saying Jordan Grace was the end all be all, but to have Jordan Grace be in the Rumble really took that term forbidden door and kind of threw it out the window.
Which, by the way, the chief brand officer, Triple H, says that term is the stupidest thing they've ever heard.
Oh, I completely agree. That I'll put it this way, that's the only part I agree with from his part of the press conference.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
Oh, yes, we will. But then we had after the Rumble, in which
we forgot about someone else who actually finally appeared in the Rumble.
Who?
Jade Cargill. Which,
actually, I thought at one point they were going to pull the trigger on her.
It looked like they were. But I think I see a Mania match from that Rumble, and they were teasing it a little bit.
Who?
Remember how everyone was saying that, for Jade to, showcase showcase, her debut will be against Charlotte Flair. Charlotte's out.
Yeah.
So who's the next best person in line? Not Natalya.
Bianca.
Mm-hmm. Sign me up.
Yeah. I would go over that because I thought the route they were going to go was Jade versus Nia.
They were choosing that a little bit.
Yeah, but let's call a spade here for a second. With how Nia sometimes gets looked at as being an unsafe worker,
mm-hmm.
Do you really want her to work with your newest free agent signing like that?
Nope. And I heard people say this too.
Mm-hmm.
In the 10 minutes that Jade was out there, WWE put her, WWE showcased her more than AEW did.
Because the difference is WWE made her a star. AEW, I'm going to say this right now, she might as well have been the AEW version of Goldberg.
That's what they were trying to do.
It was, ooh, cool, she does 3 moves and that's it.
Let's keep a winning streak going. Yeah, great call, guys.
The Jade that we saw Saturday down in Tampa, I can get behind as a fan. The Jade that we saw in AEW, I could never get behind because I always felt like they brought her out as a special attraction.
Not to mention the reaction that Jade got when her Tron came on in Tampa.
Which I didn't realize, by the way, that was her AEW theme.
It really they changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, but not by much, though.
Not by much, but
But no, like I thought the Women's Rumble was run smoothly. It was done right. I think the right person won in Bayley,
who came in at number 3, by the way.
I mean, we all know who that's going to set up.
Oh yeah,
and I love how they said, "Oh, we're going to announce it on Friday." Yeah, I'm gonna laugh if all of a sudden it's nope. We're going to go the route of Rhea. But let's keep things moving here because I want to get to the other 2 matches, the non-Rumble matches. And the first one I want to look at is the Fatal 4-Way, which saw Roman Reigns take on AJ Styles, LA Knight.
That was terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I heard that from quite a few people.
Here's my opinion about Roman and his title reign, because everyone's saying like, "Oh, it's a historic reign," but do you really watch his matches? Because I sure as hell do. They always say, like, oh, yeah, he goes about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. Yeah, because fucking 15, 20 minutes is him just taunting and the 5 minutes just wrestling.
That's kind of the only way you can put it. But
I mean, come on. How many times do we see him do like a bomb and he's like, oh, yeah, this is a tribal chief. Yeah. I'm like, just get on with it.
But that's unfortunate.
If I was an indie promoter, I would tell them, hey, listen, hurry up, take it home.
But that's Roman's matches.
They were never like that, though, years ago.
Because of his whole character change. Because in essence, what he's becoming, do you remember the promo he cut on Monday Night Raw a number of years ago when he basically said that Brock is a part-timer?
I said this to you.
Yeah, you brought it up to me, and I thought about it. It's accurate.
And here's the other thing also. You want to know why the matches were slow? Because look who was running WWE at that point. Someone who was slow.
Exactly. But I thought that match, honestly, put me to sleep.
They only went 15 minutes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you notice when Solo came out, right there, then it was like, okay, Roman's going to win.
You saw my reaction when Solo came out. I'm like, yes, it's almost the end.
But no, like I said, with that match, and I said to you, last night, they should have switched that match with the Logan Paul match.
Because,
because
they wanted Roman to make his way up to the skybox, so they had to have a filler match.
Well, what I didn't understand, I thought they did that also when they first announced that match was going to be second. I'm like, okay, they're doing this because Styles, Orton, or LA Knight, all three of them are going to be in the Rumble. But you notice none of them were in the Rumble.
I know.
But so then we get to the Logan Paul match. What did you think of the Logan Paul match?
So, I kind of liked it, except for the ending.
How so?
Because out of all this time, excuse me, because out of all this time whenever shenanigans happens, no one sees the foreign object. But now apparently, when this referee came on, 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute, are those brass knuckles? I'm like, are you kidding me, dude?
He found his eyesight.
Apparently, he finally found his eyesight.
I think he's the only ref that I ever saw that happen.
But you see, no, actually, it's only during Logan Paul's match where Logan Paul gets away with it. I wonder if it's because he supplies the referees with a lifetime supply of Prime.
That's a good drink.
It sucks.
I've drank it before.
I rest my case.
Wow. But I agree. I thought the ending was kind of wonky to me. To me, it kind of just, you had this whole match. It was going great, and then all of a sudden it just fell flat.
But then you had that feel-good moment at the end where Kevin Owens power bombs Logan Paul on the table. He stands over him, and then he goes, I need a cough drop.
Yeah. No, that I agree with 100%. That I definitely agree with. And
we forgot one more surprise that happened.
What?
Before the women's match even started.
Who?
Where someone on commentary knew this time, but the other person didn't again.
What happened?
At McAfee?
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, I agree. I was just reading. I was just looking at some of the comments. But actually, speaking about comments, let me pull them up quickly here. Got a comment.
Go ahead.
Got a comment coming in from our friend David across the pond, saying, "Hey, Jon Ryan, I gotta say I love the Rumble winners' decisions included, and I was on the edge of my seat when they teased the almost clash between Cargill and Belair. Awesome show." What's Cheyenne, I think her name is. I apologize if I butchered it. Said Kevin should have won and been champion. And David said best return of the night goes to Pat McAfee. Yeah. I would say not only the best return, I was also going to say the best moment when he did the Drew Carey spot in the Rumble. And
I've wanted to do that spot in Rumbles for a long time.
Well, we talked to the right promoter. Who knows?
I don't know.
Well, I was going to say, if also you go into the ring, you see somebody like Almost and Braun Breaker sitting there, wouldn't you do the same thing?
Yeah. I definitely would.
I would sit there also. If I walked in the ring and I'm seeing Almost and Braun Breaker, first of all, if I see Almost, I'm probably crapping myself.
You kidding me? You kidding me? You do the same reaction if you saw Hornswoggle or El Torito.
No, they're my height.
Not by much.
But so then we had the main event, the Men's Royal Rumble. Started off great with Jay and then Jimmy.
I actually like that.
But then it kind of went downhill for me after that.
I like the fourth entrant.
I don't remember who's the fourth entrant.
El Idolo.
Yes. And I didn't recognize it at first until you pointed it out.
Oh, because, I was actually watching the pay-per-view, not on my phone.
I was checking something on Twitter.
Sure you were.
I'm a Twitter guy.
No, you're a phoneaholic.
But I have to stay in the know what's going on.
So you can be a wannabe journalist like Sean Ross Sapp and Dave Meltzer? Okay, I see how it is. You're starting to build their ego like them too. I'm just saying, dude.
I don't have an ego, dude.
We talked about this.
David said.
I wouldn't do that. I would laugh hysterically on that one.
Oh yeah. I would crap myself. I'd be sitting there going, okay. I would try so hard not to break character on that one.
Yeah.
But let's keep things moving here because, like I said, folks, we got a lot to get to. Now, the ending with the Rumble. Do you think that came off more as a singles match?
It did.
And the other thing also, was it just me? I mean, yeah, obviously we knew that Punk got injured afterwards, but did it seem to you like Punk seemed very gassed, very like out of breath?
Yeah. Well, actually, I wouldn't say gassed. I think he was more, especially after torn his what was it, bicep or tricep? Tricep. I think he was trying so hard to fight through the pain, so that's why he seemed a little quote unquote gassed.
Yeah,
he was holding back the pain.
Well, and we'll get into Monday Night Raw in a bit, again, before Chris Envy joins us at the bottom of the hour here. And then, of course, like I said, Pete Rosado joins us at the bottom of hour number 2. But, like I said, I like what they did with the ending. Because Rhodes also made history, becoming only the 4th wrestler since the inception of the Rumble to win back-to-back years, and also it's the first time in 26 years that we've had a winner go back-to-back. Do you know who the other 3 are?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Obviously the last one was Stone Cold.
Yep.
Hogan. I'm like running through my head, like, what the winners were year by year. Crap, I have no idea.
I'm just double checking right now. Yep. Hold on, I'm gonna double check right now. I think it was either Sean or it was Brett. But I'm just looking right now.
Oh no, I think it was Sean. I think it was him.
Well, I'm just taking a look here right now. Hogan. I'm trying to see here. Hold on, now I'm confused here. Oh, I'm trying to see something here. Just bear with me 1 second here. Yep, Hogan was 90 and 91. And yep, Sean was 95 and 96.
Oh, okay.
Wow, do you realize we went through, just hear this out for a second. We went through a stretch from 95 to 98 where the two winners of the Rumble were Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Really makes you think of how predictable it was back in the day.
Yeah, because Shawn won it in 95 and 96, and Steve Austin won it in 97, 98. And then won again in 01.
What happened?
Then he won it again in 2001. I'm just looking here quickly, and then that's the last. He's the last one to be a multi winner, so to speak, multi-time winner. But I thought overall, like I said, I'm glad Cody won. And I like the end in what they did in regards to Cody basically calling Roman out right there and then.
After pointing at the WrestleMania sign.
Yeah. Which I did like that. And actually, the funny thing is, our thumbnail before I picked this one was actually going to be the photo that somebody took of him pointed at the Mania sign, but pointing at Roman saying, "You're mine in Philly."
Well, this will now segue into last night on Raw, because after what transpired, things can change.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
First of all, CM Punk is out for Mania.
Let me ask you this, because I had a few people ask me this. Do you think that's legit?
Knowing his age, yeah.
Because the only reason I said that, or because they did the whole angle with Drew last night. Was that WWE's way of writing Punk off?
Yeah, I think so.
Because if you notice in that promo, he did say, "When I do come back, I'm coming for you."
Mm-hmm.
So there was one theory I heard, which could be an interesting one.
What?
Somehow Drew wins the title towards the end of this year. The world
that is if he resigns.
Yeah, of course, this is based off of all if he resigns. Wins the title. Punk wins the Rumble next year. We get Punk McIntyre at Mania.
Well, we'll see what happens. Let's get past 8. Let's get past 40 first.
Yeah. Or as I call it, Injury Bug Mania. But no, you look at what but what'd you think of McIntyre's promo?
He's gotten better and better on the microphone as of late.
Yeah, I thought his freaking promo was savage as hell.
Yeah.
But I loved every second of it.
But speaking of promos, another one happened last night, which really got me intrigued.
You talking about Rollins?
Uh-huh.
What'd you think of his promo?
I love the fact that he calls the Universal title the Hulk Hogan title, and his title the Dusty Rhodes title.
Hey, it's true.
No, absolutely. I also think it's funny that they were in Tampa, Florida, home of Hulk Hogan. I thought that was freaking hilarious.
Well, what you bring that up, and that brings up an interesting thing. We're in Hogan country.
Yeah.
And the only mention we got of him was in the open.
Well, he actually was also there Saturday night in one of the suites.
Oh, he was. Oh, okay.
He was there. They just never acknowledged him. And also, there was a nice little change up on both Raw and SmackDown. As good friend Shane Fair say, the commentation station.
Hi, Shane.
Hi, Shane. On Raw, the new commentary team is Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. And for SmackDown, it is confirmed that it's going to be Corey Graves and Wade Barrett.
I'm curious to see with that. Who takes the commentary?
I think Barrett. Actually, no. Maybe Graves.
I read that supposedly they're going to be grooming Graves.
I think so, because I see Barrett more as the color commentator.
Well, they had to, especially with how freaking bad Kevin Patrick. I bet Sheamus's twin brother was. Who it was announced he did get released last week.
Yeah, which is a shame too. They could have put him in somewhere else because he was great backstage.
Yeah, that I agree with. You know, it's some people are very good at being backstage people, and that's really their forte. I'm just saying.
And actually, I'm going to call something out right now.
Uh-oh.
Because I saw this on the press conference after Mania. And looking back at Raw now, I'm saying this right now. You notice the guy in the green shirt that's in the front row?
Yeah.
You know that he was there for the press conference?
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't be allowed to do that. Because if he's in the front row, camera side, then I'm sorry, he should not be allowed doing the press conference. Because that right there proves he's nothing more than a mark.
He's a plant. People still said it for a while. They think he's a plant.
I don't know, honestly.
Because nobody has that much PTO time.
Unless you work from home.
Yeah, but even that, though.
Consistent from remote.
I feel like he's always at Raw. I don't think he's ever at SmackDown, though.
Nope.
But actually, before we get more into Monday Night Raw, I want to dive into that press conference because first of all, I do want to shout out friend of the show Chris Nunez, who did get on camera to ask Cody Rhodes a question. So congratulations to Chris. But I did love. We got some more comments coming here, so let me pull up these comments quickly. Lance, host of the Metal Geek show, which he'll also be down in Philly with us, says, "What's going on, guys?"
What's up, Lance?
Billy chimes in here and says, "Sup, guys? Don't crap on KP, but oh my God, welcome back, Pat Mac." We're not crapping on Kevin Patrick.
At least I'm not.
I don't crap on people like that.
You called him Sheamus's brother.
Because he looks like Sheamus's brother.
What are you trying to say? Irish people look alike?
Okay, you thought for a while. People thought for a while I looked like freaking Hornswoggle.
Who the hell said that?
People at work.
Well, yeah, because you're short.
Really?
Yes, dwarfism.
And I guess that would make you Andre the Giant then.
You're damn right. No, I'm Johnny Gonzalez.
No. You're more athletic than Giant Gonzalez.
True.
But I want to get into that press conference, though.
First of all, it seemed quick.
Well, because realistically, what were they going to do? They were going to have Logan Paul answer questions?
Maybe.
I don't think so. And what I want to focus on with that press conference is Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we did that live video last week in regards to what happened to Vince. And what did you think about Hunter's response to the questions about Vince?
Very professional. I love it.
Really? Because I read mixed reviews about it on social media.
How do you figure?
Some people hated it because they felt like he was just brushing off the whole thing.
Well, yeah, because just like Cody said, everybody was finding out the day the article came out. Nobody knew about it, even him.
Yeah, but my thing is this.
But also, he had a show to run. So you expect him to just drop everything just to read the lawsuit? Forget that one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year is running, especially him as the chief brand officer, someone who's trying to rebuild WWE from the darkest days that it has been for the last 5-6 years, even before pandemic, especially with this past week with the massive amount of stuff they did. First of all, bringing in The Rock on the board of directors and having that massive Netflix $5 billion deal. But you want all of it to go. You want all of it to be foreshadowed by his idiotic father-in-law and the rest of his stupid stooges over their immature, childish-like antics, disgusting antics. No, I don't care what anyone says if they don't like it, trying to brush it off. Yeah, because it's supposed to be a positive weekend, especially with the Netflix deal and everything. It's supposed to be a celebration moment. And all everyone is caring about at that moment was the lawsuit, which right there proves that they really don't care about the WWE product unless something negative happens. That is my take on the whole thing. Coming from a business perspective, he's trying to do everything that he can to make sure the brand is still alive. Because when Triple H took over, WWE stock has gotten a hell of a lot better. And also with the quality of the product that they've had, because we all know for a long time WWE's been in the have been in the toilets with their product and quality. But when he took over, first of all with NXT, taking a small developmental territory down in Florida and turning it into a third brand that every one of their mothers either wanted to watch, be there live, or actually be there to perform. And then him and his team created the WWE Performance Center, which again is another awesome training facility from what I've been hearing. And now, as of late, you have, especially as of late, I think after Mania 22, Mania 22, Mania, whatever the one in 2022, the one in Dallas, the one that had Roman and Brock main event. Thank you. Ever since then, the stock has gotten a hell of a lot better because, first of all, they brought in Cody Rhodes, someone who literally became a bigger star for themselves after being fired, or I'm sorry, released from WWE 7-8 years ago, going off, doing the independent scene, making AEW, and then leaving AEW due to some childish antic bullshit, to coming to WWE with massive open arms and literally sales going right through the roof of not only merchandise, ticket sales. I think even Peacock's even Peacock subscriptions went through the roof. So again, as of late, WWE is, and now in 2023, they started doing international live events. Not just house shows, but like live, like SmackDowns, Raws, and going back to that, and even doing live premium live events. Last May, they did a premium live event in Puerto Rico, highly successful. This year, their next one is Perth, Australia, with Elimination Chamber. Then you got Mania, and then you got France with Backlash, and then I think they're going back to Saudi Arabia. I think in June or something like that. But then you got Toronto with Money in the Bank. Then you got Bash in Berlin in August. So yeah, I would be celebrating and thinking about the positive going forward not worry about a freaking lawsuit over something that also, quite honestly, had nothing to do with Triple H in the first place. Again, as a brand officer, I know I'm on a rant right now, but I've had some time to think about this. As a brand officer, you are protecting your brand. Lately, WWE has been run by Triple H, someone who literally we all saw grow up in front of our eyes on our TV screens through the WWE system. He's always been a WWE guy, and obviously will always be a WWE guy. He loves this business, and he's doing everything that he can to try to make WWE what it once was. I mean, he didn't have to reach out to outside companies to try to bring in people for the Rumble. He didn't have to do that, but he wanted to. That's why he got the TNA Knockouts champion Jordan Grace, who I think was in there for at least over 20 minutes. And actually had a great showing on there. But because, journalists, and I say that term very loosely, asking about the lawsuit over after literally just completing a successful Rumble with a sold-out, brand-new attendance record for the Tropicana Dome, a place that they have called home for a year and a half by the Thunderdome, where them having over 48,000 people, and you want him to forget about that and talk about the impending lawsuit that happened? You out of your goddamn minds.
Feel better?
We'll see what happens.
Okay. I partially disagree with what you said. And I say that for this reason. I agree on the fact of, you want to focus on the positive stuff. You had a successful week, all that stuff. That I agree with 100%. But the reports came out on Thursday, okay? Yeah, I think it was.
It was Thursday. Yes.
Yeah, it was Thursday. So you had Thursday, Friday, and all day Saturday, and Thursday and Friday, because I don't count Saturday, because Saturday was show day.
And Friday technically was show day too with SmackDown.
What I would have done differently if it was me, if I was Hunter, the first thing I would have come out and said before anything else is, or somebody would have asked, like, John Alba or Sean Ross Sapp would have asked about it, I would have turned around and said, you know what? Can't answer that right now due to the ongoing pending investigation. Because I felt like the way he answered it, I felt like he was brushing it off almost.
Well, the reason why is because, honestly, nobody knew what the hell was going on. Everyone was sideswiped by this. You think Triple H knew ahead of time about this lawsuit? Absolutely not. He found out just as everybody else. Even Cody said it best. He found out just as everybody else did on Thursday when the Wall Street Journal decided to publish that article. And that's why on Friday, that's when TKO made a public statement saying that Vince is officially gone. Now, I know what you're going to say. Is he gone like last time? No, he's absolutely gone. And from what I'm hearing also, because TKO actually made this announcement on Saturday morning, I believe, they are cleaning house with anything involving Vince. So any of his stooges, which I think John Laurinaitis is still there, and also potentially Bruce Pritchard, people that he brought back, will be gone. And a lot of people were saying, oh, what about Triple H? He's a Vince guy. No, he's not. Because truth be told, Vince never liked Triple H at all. He never did. The only reason why he tolerated him was because he married his daughter, Stephanie.
He worked his way up in the company.
Exactly.
But that's what I would have done, is I would have sat there and just said, hey, can't answer that due to the ongoing pending investigation.
But if he says that, it makes him look bad.
No,
because
he's protecting himself.
That's what it is. He's protecting himself and himself only. Whereas if he says he wants to focus on the positive right now, he's talking about the brand as a whole. Brand as a whole. Because if he said, do the ongoing investigation, that means that he's just covering his own ass. And that's not a good look.
But not only that, he won't only be covering himself, he protecting the company's ass too.
Not when he says pending investigation. No.
Because that's what this is. This is a pending investigation.
It is, but at the same time, legally they can't say anything. Even if they say that, it looks guilty as hell.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that for them to look guilty. What I'm just saying is, you say the one statement, you put out a blanket statement, and that's it.
But as I just said, John, if you actually paid attention, everyone else was sideswiped about this lawsuit. Everybody had zero clue about this. And now, like I think it was 24 hours later, after the whole lawsuit came out, the story of what really happened between Vince and Shane from 2009, 2010 came out. And I think also kind of apropos that since Vince left, Stephanie came back, which really shows that, the McMahon family isn't really a big happy family as everyone assumes they are.
I get what you're saying.
Do you, though?
Yes.
No, honestly, do you? Because you're sounding like every other wannabe journalist out there. John Alba, Sean Ross Sapp, Dave Meltzer. You think you know it all, but you're looking at it from one perspective. You're not looking at it from a full perspective.
Okay, first of all, I never sit here and say that I'm a journalist, first of all. But when you're protecting your brand and you're protecting your public image, and first of all, also, when you said before that they didn't know, how come all of a sudden there was reports that came out that I think around the time when Stephanie left, and I could be wrong on this, but I could have sworn I read something saying that, there's going to be more stuff coming out. Then all of a sudden Stephanie left.
Yeah, because there's probably other stuff, but not this.
I want to ask, the people who are watching, leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. Do you like how Triple H answered the questions in the press conference, or do you not? Let us know in the comments below. We should be joined in about a couple minutes or so from Chris Envy, owner and promoter of We Are Dynasty. The Dynasty. Why did you say We Are?
I don't know.
And The Dynasty, as they present their next show, It Was All a Dream, happening February 17th, live from Empire Live. There is a slew of talent already announced, including Brother Jonas, Taylor One Shot, Wrecking Ball Legursky is going to be there. AEW Ring of Honor superstar Jay Lethal is going to be in action. Joey Conway is going to be in action.
A whole slew of talent.
And guys, you're not going to want to miss it. It's at the same place where they did their first show back in October.
Empire Live.
Yep. And I personally thought it was a very intriguing venue, to say the least, because it came off like a movie set to me. And one other thing I want to just touch on quickly.
And also, by the way, I do feel better after letting all that out. I do feel better. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ryan, you know that one of the other schools that we're a part of is UWA, Upstate Wrestling Entertainment.
More you than me, but sure.
The podcast.
More you than me.
Yes. They debuted their episode today. And I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing yet. All I know is I saw some pictures from backstage, and it I looked kind of interesting to say the least. It was weird seeing myself as a it was weird seeing myself in a backstage role, so to speak. Hold on 1 second. Just Ryan, keep talking for a second. I just want to see what happened here. Give me 1 second.
With what?
Talk about
What happened with what?
the first guest.
Oh, everything okay?
I'm about to find out. Just talk. Yeah, I'm gonna hop off here for a second.
Okay. Well, folks, while he gets that situated, I said my statement about the whole thing with Triple H's comment at the press conference, and obviously you heard my co-host John say that he kind of disagrees. Listen, some people think other. I'm just stating my opinion. I'm allowed to do that. I'm not gonna have my arm twisted and change my mind on everything. Oh, hey, what's up, Mike? How are you? Not much. We were literally just talking about the whole thing with the press conference. But I like the fact that they only brought in Bailey, Cody, and Triple H. Again, very, very quick press conference. And as John is trying to figure, okay, John, if you're in there, he just said I think he just said in there OMW, in other words, on my way. So I think our guest is coming in soon. Which, by the way, folks, if you're just tuning in a little bit, we'll be joined by owner of the Dynasty, which is the pro wrestling company in Albany, New York, and that is Chris Envy. What did I think of the Rumble? Honestly, if I had to give it out of 5 stars, I would give it maybe 3 stars out of 5. With in no particular order, the Universal title being the worst match, followed by I would say by the US title match, and then the men's Rumble, and then the women's Rumble. But that was it. Michael was asking my opinion about the Rumble.
I would agree as well with what you gave it. About 3 stars, I thought. We have some more comments coming in here. I just want to pull up on the Facebook group because of the fact we don't get the comments. We don't get the names up here, so I have to see who's commented. Oh, Merck said he honestly didn't like the Rumble.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that.
Like I said,
I think it's also the building too, because first of all, you're in Tampa, Florida. The crowd is really not that hot down there.
No, but I think also it's funny. Busted Open was talking about this. The men's Rumble didn't have a lot of, and this is weird how it happened. They didn't have a lot of surprises
because they already have a jam-packed locker room.
But they filled it. They kind of furthered storylines, which I found interesting because we were talking about this on Saturday. Lashley was in the ring. He got eliminated by Karrion Kross. All of a sudden, who comes out? Authors of Pain and the Street Profits. So I look at the
Final Testament.
Final Testament. Sorry, my bad. You don't want to piss them off because Authors of Pain can twist you like a pretzel.
So can Kross.
Yeah. Except, did you notice, by the way, when he was in the Rumble, he looked like old CM Punk?
Yep.
With the red tights and everything, I'm looking, I'm going, CM Punk from ECW is back?
And the hair.
Well, that's what gave it away, was the hair.
Karrion Kross looked like a human chia pet.
Hold on, what the hell did he say?
It was best Rumble I ever slept through. Are you talking about the men's or the women's, Michael? Because if it was the men's, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. The women's, like I said, the women were good because you got surprises.
And also Chelsea Green breaking her record from last year.
Oh, I feel so. No, the comment I like was when she was in the corner, and you hear Pat McAfee on commentary go, "Yes, breakfast at Birdie's is happening in the corner right now."
Oh my, no, Weekend at Birdies.
Weekend at Birdie's, yeah.
God, I'm sorry. Can we get Corey Graves, Pat McAfee, and Michael Cole for commentary for all premium live events going forward? I think that was the best trio I have ever heard.
Yes. He asked, "Do you think Cody needs to beat Roman to finish his story?"
You know what's
Ryan, I'll
funny?
let you go first on this one.
You know what's funny? He never really specified who he, especially originally, he never specified who he had to beat for the title.
Yeah,
He
yes.
never really specified. The only reason why he said Roman was because Roman was the only champion world champion. But that was before they brought in, this WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So now, could he finish the story on Seth frickin' Rollins, and then have the highly rumored Roman Rock at Mania?
I mean, they could still go that route. I just look at it.
They can now.
Yeah, unfortunately, they kind of put themselves in that position now. But I just think if you do that route, I almost feel like it's the consolation prize almost. You build him up, and I say that for this reason. You do the match last year at 39. Roman wins.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the problem is the reason why they're so gung-ho on Cody Roman is this reason. Look at how that match ended at Mania last year. We saw the Usos and Solo Sikoa interfere. So it wasn't, so to speak, that Cody lost to the better man. It's Roman won because he had help from the bloodline. So I think looking at it now, almost a year later, I think if you don't do Cody and Roman, you might as well turn around and say, okay, this is the consolation prize. Because I feel like we've done Cody and Seth already.
We have. We had that trio of matches, especially where basically Cody beat him with a freaking torn pec.
Yeah. Mike, we're both from Long Island. And yes, Chris Envy will be our guest. He should be joining us in about 15 minutes-ish.
Oh, he's running a little late. Okay.
Yeah, ish. But that's my thing, though, is I think going into Mania, I think you got to do Cody and Roman.
Well, if that's the case, then they should start building. Then they need to start building up now.
Oh, they'll build it up in time. But here's the thing, though. I don't think you really have to build up because the story is there. And also, realistically, let's call a spade here. If, like I said, you don't do, but I know somebody brought up a great point. I was listening to one of the local state, Busted Open, actually. What about doing a triple threat?
Who would be the third person then?
Rock.
Then that also defeats the purpose. It should be one-on-one then. If you really want to go that route, why not do Rock and Solo? Or Rock and
I'll tell you right now, Rock is if we're seeing Rock in Philly, I don't think it's gonna be anything less than a main event spot. And we saw it with the women. When they announced the women, they said, the winner will main event WrestleMania. So who's to say that the women don't main event night one, which means that basically lines it in with Cody and Roman for night two. Because I know they were saying, oh, well, what about, Gunther and Seth? I don't think we're getting Gunther. As much as I'd love to see Gunther in that spot to walk out of Mania double champ.
So But here's the thing, though. Who would you have Seth face at Mania then? That's the real question. Because realistically, I don't think there's really any but. Because I think also from what I'm seeing, they're teasing Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. I'm calling it right now, and I think that one's gonna be a Philly street fight.
Or why not a triple? Why I'm gonna go back to the triple threat thing again.
What is it with you and triple threats, dude?
It's easy booking.
It's called lazy.
Or lazy booking.
But from what I'm seeing, I think it's gonna be Sami and McIntyre at Mania. At Mania in a Philly street fight. You know what? I'm fantasy booking Mania right now. I'm doing this. I think what we are gonna see it's Bayley and Io Sky for the SmackDown Women's title.
Yeah.
It's somehow gonna be Rhea and Becky for the Raw Women's title. If you really want to go, if they really want to try to pull this route, you can go one or two ways: LA Knight versus AJ Styles, or LA Knight versus Logan Paul, which that's been teased for a while for the U.S. title.
Yeah.
After what transpired last night, how about the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus a reuniting Awesome Truth and R-Truth and The Miz, and then somehow have Awesome Truth actually win? Because also don't forget they are teasing Damian Priest with the Money in the Bank cash in, and also teasing him as a face.
So what you're saying with Awesome Truth, almost similar to what they did at 35 with Cardona and Myers.
Yeah. Run it back.
I could see that.
You can do either, Seth. I mean, if they really want to pull the trigger on this one, Seth and Gunther title for title. Actually, you can do Gunther and Seth for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Priest is gonna pull a Seth Rollins and cash in on him. Make it a triple threat. He pins Rollins, not pinning Gunther to not make him look weak. So also by then, I think he's still going to be Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he would be, because he can't be at the Chamber.
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, he can't be in the Chamber due to visa issues.
Yep.
Damn Australians. And he cashes in on Rollins. I mean, he cashes it in at Mania, getting his WrestleMania moment. He's the one that's pinning Rollins, making Gunther not look weak. And then out comes Monday on Raw. And then come Monday night on Raw. He's celebrating and whatnot. Then after losing the tag titles, I gotta mention that too, because I think they're gonna do the tag titles on night one. I think in my opinion, they're gonna start off hot with that.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I going with this shit? They're gonna start off with the tag titles. Start off on a high moment with Awesome Truth winning. Then later on the night, maybe semi-main event before the main event. The World Heavyweight title match. And then come Monday on Raw, with here comes Judgment Day, because also I have a feeling Rhea Ripley is losing the title to Becky. And now it will seem like everyone else in Judgment Day does not have titles except for Damian Priest, which causes a lot of tension and potentially the start of Damian Priest's face turn, and have him go in feuds, go into a nice little title feud with Finn Balor. Because Finn can also pull the line going, I made you. But then Priest saying, you know what, you didn't make me. Like, have him basically just, shit on Judgment Day, saying, this is the briefcase I won, and you were telling me when to cash in and whatnot. That's how they're gonna do it. He's gonna attempt to cash in, but then out comes the Judgment Day saying, "Whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't cash in, don't cash in." He disobeys them. He does it, and he wins the title, which makes the rest of Judgment Day, pissed. And again, start the slow face turn, because the next pay-per-view of Backlash, it'll be a 6-man tag match as Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough versus the new tag team champions, Awesome Truth, and the new world heavyweight champion, Damian Priest.
Interesting.
Are you questioning, or?
Oh, no, definitely interesting.
And then for yes, Mark, we'll get into that later on. We'll get to that later on. And then for the IC title, I think you can probably do one or two things with this. Have Gunther come out on Raw and say that he is the greatest intercontinental champion of all time, blah blah blah. Greatest champion of all time. And he's I'm in a generous good mood. I'm gonna issue an IC Open challenge. And it's gonna be someone who's either returning or debuting. And I think that's when you'll get the biggest reaction of him losing the IC title the Monday after Mania. Which then right there, you can start building him to become a potential number 1 contender for when they do Bash in Berlin 4 months later in August.
I got another name of somebody who I could see possibly taking that IC title.
There's a bunch of names I'm throwing out there.
Yeah, but here's one that nobody's even thinking of. And the storyline is right there.
What?
Kaiser.
Yeah. I've kind of noticed that as late.
And the storyline could be this. You can have, Gunther go, he's been on this historic run, this, that, another thing. And Kaiser turns around and goes, I've had your back. I've almost essentially, I don't know if it would make Gunther turn face. Because, I would say WWE, once you're European, you're automatically a heel.
Hold on. Actually, no, Merv. I don't know if that will work.
No. Here's what I'm saying, Ludwig, though. Ludwig could turn around and go, oh, since I've been here, I've always been in your shadows. But, if you want to make him a real heel, almost have him do a modern-day version of the Lex Luger narcissist gimmick.
I think I have the person that he can drop the title to.
Who?
Actually, 2 people, if they really want. Kind of joining you with the Chad Gable thing. But I have another name.
Who?
He just returned on Saturday and just officially signed with Raw. How about Andrade?
Yeah, I can see that.
I definitely see that.
What do you think about Kaiser, though?
No, that's it. Kaiser screws over Gunther during the title match, costing him the title.
But then you can play it off, because then you notice how WWE doesn't have like that it couple that's a massive heel.
Yeah.
Here's your opportunity right here. Kaiser, Tiffany Stratton.
Well, I mean, technically they have a quote-unquote heel couple, but they're not really a couple. It's Dominic and Rhea.
No, I think if you play it off with Tiffany and Ludwig, you can get more heat for them than what Dominic and Rhea have.
True.
Because you can play it off that, you can have Tiffany turn around and go, oh, all you sweat hogs, here's my man, built that, chiseled out of gold, really play it off to the point where he's almost getting the Dom treatment of he gets booed the second he starts talking. And with him, we've seen it before. He's good on the microphone.
Oh no, he is.
And I think at this point, realistically, Imperium has had a great run. Don't get me wrong. But I would love to see Kaiser go on his own.
I think eventually the building, because also, where the hell is Vinci?
He's stuck in catering.
Okay.
No, I think he's coming off an injury. But like I said, give me a mega heel Kaiser. And
somewhat of a stone cold tweener Gunther.
Yeah. And then you could play it off like, before he walks into the ring, Tiffany really play off him being play off with him like he has an incredibly massive ego.
But what do you think of my Mania fantasy booking?
I like it. And at some point before we get to Mania, we're going to actually we're going to do our second annual predictions video.
Oh yes. Once the card is, fully in store.
Yep. And like I said, folks, that will be happening rather soon.
In a couple of months.
Yeah. But now here comes the next question with Punk. I know Punk's not going to be at Mania because that was well established last night.
Mm-hmm.
We see Punk come back at SummerSlam.
Depends on how long the recovery process is, because they also made a point. This is his third injury in 15 months.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. He's very injury prone.
Yeah.
I just want to see.
Because first of all, you had the broken heel when he stupidly jumped out into the crowd at AEW after winning the title. And then you had the I think it was the foot. I think.
Yeah.
And now the tricep. Like, good lord. I will say this also. What I actually do like about WWE's production. I don't know if you call it this. I know I did. But you notice how, like, during the Rumble, they had like the little timers on the corner.
Yes, I like that.
And also, when it comes to the lower graphics for each person, there's like little snippets, like notes on there. Like, say for example, like last night they had Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler come in, and the little side note on there says, defeated Candice LeRae. Hold on, crap. What did it say? It said, defeated Candice and Indy last week. Like little snippets like that.
I popped one for Randy. It said 20-time champion.
Yeah.
And I sat there. I'm like, when did he become a 20-time champion?
They probably combined all the titles together.
Yeah. But
I also like the fact that production is making it more sport like.
Well, because what's his face? Bucktooth Boy ain't there anymore.
Dun 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 dun. Or dun 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 dun.
And I was looking, by the way, they haven't announced SummerSlam yet, but according to reports, the likely city for SummerSlam, you're gonna laugh at this one. According to reports, mind you, we got Chamber is in a couple weeks in Australia.
Crikey. Oh, and also I forgot to mention there was a return last night on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea Green's intro by Samantha Irvine.
Yeah, no, I liked it.
They brought it back because everyone complained, going, "Oh, I hated it," but we all loved it.
So like I said, we got Chamber in Australia. We have Mania in Philly. We got Backlash in France. I just read they're not doing, as of now, if I'm reading this right, they're not doing a pay-per-view in June.
Yeah, because isn't the first weekend of July
Money in the Bank in Toronto.
So then when the hell are they going to be doing SummerSlam? End of July?
That's the only thing I'm thinking.
Because you got Bash in Berlin in end of August.
Yeah, so maybe the end of July.
Now, where is said location?
How about Cleveland, Ohio?
What? Depends on where in Cleveland, though. Either at the football stadium or no, wait, it has to be the football stadium because they can't do it at Progressive Field.
No, not in the summer.
Unless somehow they find a week that the Indians are not home all week.
How about we have some breaking news?
In terms of
where Okada's going to be going.
Who reported it first?
Pro Wrestling Tees.
So let me guess, AEW?
No, well, hold on. They were saying how one of the guys who works for Pro Wrestling Tees put a thing out saying, I was just told to remove all Okada merchandise.
That could be for either AEW.
AEW wrestlers have a Pro Wrestling Tees store.
Not if they're big names like them.
I think we're seeing. I think that's confirmation we're getting him in WWE.
So
I really think we're getting him in WWE.
Okay, interesting. I guess time will tell on that one. So watch the day of NXT Takeover in Philly. Are they gonna do the shot of him just sitting in the crowd?
Oh, without a doubt.
He'll be sitting there going, "The fuck am I doing here? I'm a big leaguer. Why am I in the minor leagues?" No, honestly, I think if that was the case, I would say probably have him go to NXT is a good start. I know some people might think otherwise because of his name value went up, but he's never really dealt with WWE with how WWE does productions and whatnot. So I think him doing NXT would be a great start for him.
Yeah, I could see that. But guys, if you're watching, let us know, where do you think Okada should end up? If he is if what we're reading is correct and he is WWE bound, do you start him off in NXT or do you shoot him right up to the main roster?
But if you shoot him up on the main roster, you already have an oversaturated roster already.
And the thing also, you know damn well, if he goes to WWE, they're not going to change his name.
No, they've been kind of more lenient about that.
Yeah, Mark agrees with you. NXT.
It makes sense.
It's the most logical choice.
That way he can get more familiarized with the WWE system.
Yeah, exactly. But let's dive in now. Obviously, we're waiting for Chris Envy to join us.
Speaking of WWE, forgot to mention this. This Sunday on Peacock, NXT presents their premium live event, Vengeance Day. What's that?
You want me to pull the card up quickly?
Sure. Let's get through that quickly because we're on the topic of WWE right now. But Cleveland, Ohio for SummerSlam, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, it just seems very odd that all of a sudden it's, we're going to be in France, we're going to be in Germany. Cleveland.
Well, I think I know why, too.
The Miz.
And?
Johnny Gargano.
And?
Who else?
Oh, your idol, the one that loves Prime.
Oh, yeah, Logan Paul. Hello. And his energy drink is good.
Yes, his energy drink is for douchebags. Case in point.
Yeah, here's the thing though. When I drink it, I'm not odd. I'm Prime.
Just look up the freaking card for Vengeance Day.
Bad dad joke.
Very bad.
All right, so we got first coming up in the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals, where the winner will receive, obviously, a shot at the tag team titles.
Which will happen at NXT TakeOver Philly. I'm calling it right now because that's usually how it is.
We have one team of Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, or as I like to call them, the Wolf Dogs.
I actually kind of like the name.
Taking on the team of Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams.
Oh, so it is confirmed. It is them.
Yep.
Because I know they had I know they had that other match tonight, but now it's confirmed.
Yeah, it was confirmed.
That's gonna be interesting, especially with the story of Carmelo and Trick.
Yeah, but on the flip side, you got Braun supposedly being called up.
True, but also you have Carmelo Hayes, who technically is called up.
So who do you see winning?
Well, here's the thing: it's only a tag title match.
Yeah,
I see Lone Wolves winning because don't forget also Trick Williams is pulling double duty because he's facing off against Ilya Dragunov for the NXT Championship later on that night, which I have a feeling we're going to see Carmelo Hayes screw over Trick Williams because it's blatantly obvious Carmelo Hayes is the one that attacked Trick Williams and Ilya Dragunov, which will lead their matchup into NXT TakeOver Philly, probably in a Philly street fight.
Next match you got here, I agree. I think it's gonna be Braun and
Braun and Baron. And to be honest, Baron's kind of improved a little bit.
Oh, I totally agree. Next we got is Lyra Valkyria defending her title against Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's title.
Oof. Which, by the way, kudos to Roxanne for showing up on the main roster on the Rumble on Saturday too.
That's why I don't think she's winning here. I think she's getting called up.
Because also you got Tatum Paxley, who is Lyra's #1 stalker fan.
Yeah, we've seen that before.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right now with John and Dave LaGreca.
Who do you see winning this one?
Lyra's retaining.
In a match that I think could be one of the matches of the night for the NXT North American Championship.
Oh, is that Obafemi and Dragon Lee? Oof.
Who do you see winning this one? And don't say the fans.
I was gonna say Femi. Obafemi.
Yeah, I would. I'm really intrigued with that match.
I am too, and Oba is actually impressive.
I think he's only like 23, 24.
Yeah. Oh, and also, actually, I forgot to mention this since we were talking about Gunther. I'm going to pause Vengeance Day for something. Tomorrow is a historical day in WWE because tomorrow will mark the 600th day of Gunther's title reign, which is insane to think about, especially for the IC title that for the longest time everyone completely forgot about.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, but I want to keep things moving here. For the NXT Championship, we mentioned before, Ilya Dragunov takes on Trick Williams.
It's gonna be Dragunov because, like I said, they're setting up Trick and Carmelo, and I think that's gonna be Carmelo's swan song going up to the main roster.
I would agree on that, and for some reason, this match is listed at number 5. I don't know if that's considered to be the main event.
Probably.
6-person mixed tag team match. On one side, you have the family in Tony D'Angelo, Stax, and Adriana Rizzo versus OTM, which is Lucien Price, Bronco Nima, and Jada Parker.
Oh, that's Scripps' crew.
Yeah. Who do you see winning this one?
Based off what I'm seeing, I think the family.
It would make the most sense.
But there's one matchup that should be on there, but obviously we're probably gonna get it on TV. How about Lola Vice versus whatever the hell her name is.
Oh, Electra Lopez?
Yeah, after that little face-to-face those two had last week.
Yeah.
Especially when they kept calling each other puta, 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 puta. I'm like, wow, okay.
I liked it.
Well, yeah, you have Shawn Michaels that's running the show.
Yeah. You basically you have DX running everything now.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Everyone said for years, oh yeah, the NWO is taking over. Hell no. Who would have thought in 2024 DX is running WWE?
Yeah, in essence. But let's keep things moving here because Ryan, I know we got some independent stuff to get to.
Yep.
And I know everybody's been waiting for it. So let's get to it right now. Obviously, as we're waiting for our guest to join. Ace Wrestling. Ace comes back this Saturday for Hero Celebration. You will be the ring announcer for said show. And I'm actually going to...
I think you're trying to pull the poster. Yep, there it is.
Well, I know I asked you this when we had... Hold on. Okay. I know when we had Mike on, I asked you this question, but I want to ask you this now, being that we're only a few days out from that show.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first show that they're doing in over a year. Last show was Lethal Injection back in November of 22.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling heading into this show?
So, I'm actually gonna get a little deep on this one.
Go right ahead.
So, Ace Pro Wrestling. This show, Hero Celebration, is basically a special one for me. Not just this Hero Celebration, but just the name Hero Celebration itself, because Ace Pro Wrestling is one of the promotions that gave me a brand new nobody announcer on in the wrestling world an opportunity to be a part of quintessentially one of the top promotions on the East Coast. And where basically I was taught by some of the best minds in wrestling, whether it was through Mike Morgan, Cheyenne, William Wyeth. I'm saying names that obviously I know that you definitely don't know. William Wyeth, John Harder, Classic Mikey D, Uncle Kenny, as we call him, Jamal Jackson. The list goes on and on and on and on. Teaching me, about, obviously how to announce for production, where the proper placement for production, and that was 11 years ago. And I've said this on numerous occasions, and I will say this until the end of time, or the day I die, whichever one comes first. I would not be the announcer that I am today, in whether it's MMA, kickboxing, or wrestling, if it wasn't for Ace Pro Wrestling, because there's something about Ace Pro Wrestling that makes people come back, no matter what your stature is, no matter what your quote unquote hierarchy is. Ace has always had a special place in my heart. And actually, you know what, John, talk a little bit more, because I actually have something to show. So I'll be right back, folks.
And guys, until Ryan comes back, like I said, let me just take him off screen here for a second. I told this to Ryan even before it was announced that he was going to be ring announcing. I was going to go back to that show no matter what. The two Ace shows that I went to, which was the only thing I remember from them, was the Fans Bring the Weapons match with Vince Steele and Alvin Alvarez, and then then there was another one. I don't remember the big match on that one, but I remember that match. There's something about the aura of that place. And Ryan is back.
Okay. So when I said that, Ace is a special place in my heart, I remember this so well. It was February 7th, 2015. The first ever Hero Celebration event from the Jose Marti Freshman Academy in Union City, New Jersey, where, off the top of my head, on that night, we had Rob Vegas taking on Jay Lethal in a pay-per-view quality match, the same that we had at Lethal Injection. Stockade versus Danny Moff again in the first of their mini battles. And, and there was a massive battle royal to, over Heroes Cup battle royal. This thing that I have in my hand, which I'm going to show you all, I carry this in my bag because that's how much Ace Pro Wrestling means to me. Because also over the years, myself and my mother, God rest her soul, got close with the family, especially the hero that we are all celebrating, Mike Morgan Jr. I remember so well. Everyone in the locker room got these. If you don't mind, John, full screen it for me, please, so I can show everyone a better. This right here is the infamous armband that I keep telling you about, John. The Ace for Life armband. The reason why it says Ace for Life is because these 3 words were the last words of Mike Morgan Jr. And Mike Morgan Sr. made armbands for everyone to wear on the first Hero Celebration because that's how much Ace Pro Wrestling means to each and every single one of us. And I will be wearing this in full force this Saturday.
Well, like I said this when you... I'm glad I finally got a chance to see this armband because you, Mike, and Cheyenne were talking about this thing so much on when we had them both on 2 weeks ago.
Ace for Life, always and forever.
There's something, and you said this perfectly before.
I'm wearing
this on my arm. Huh?
I'm wearing this on my arm now.
There's something about being in that building. Yeah, you're not getting the big crowd coming to an Ace show.
Don't be so sure about that.
You're not getting a crowd of 500 people showing up in Teaneck.
We might be looking at almost 3.
No, but what I'm saying is you're not getting the Creative Pro crowd.
Yeah, I know.
But it may be a tiny crowd, but you're part of a family.
And also, Ace Pro Wrestling, they've had a lot of names go through those doors. I'll name some of them for you all right now. Yep, see, even Mercury, we've done 3 before. We have. I'm going to mention some of the names that people that have come through Ace Pro Wrestling. And when I say some of these names, you're going to be very shocked. Are you ready, John?
Yeah.
Oh crap! I forgot about that, Merc. I think it was oh yeah, I think it was the Crossroads when it was Danny Moff and Lance on Hawaii. I remember that show. Which, by the way, folks, go check that matchup on YouTube. That's fucking amazing. So here are some memorable names that have come through those doors at Ace Pro Wrestling, whether it's in Teaneck, Pagoda, Wallington, or at the famous Ace Arena on Sip Street in Union City, New Jersey. Obviously, besides Jay Lethal, how about CM Punk's wife, AJ Lee, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, Christopher Daniels. Oh yeah, how about the winner of the Continental Classic, Eddie Kingston, who, by the way, a little bit spoiler, used to come to Ace on a regular basis. We also had the Almighty Sheik, on there, and by Almighty Sheik I mean the guy that runs PCW Ultra out in California. Also for Ace Pro Wrestling back in the day. The arena was home to a bunch of top-notch indie promotions, including I'm gonna say the name now, even though it's defunct, but Chikara, as well as Dragon Gate USA and Evolve.
Some big names.
Oh yes.
Some
And
really...
I knew I forgot some. Oh yeah, Keith Lee.
Okay.
Which was him against Danny Moff.
Jesus.
And also Moff faced off another guy that you definitely cream your pants over off so much, Dijak.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, folks, whether you've heard me say it on here or you see me in person, you hear me talking about Ace and whatnot, well, the time for excuses are over. This Saturday, Ace Pro Wrestling returns live from Teaneck. They are not selling tickets online. Oh, thank you so much for that, Merc. I appreciate that. John, put that comment up for me, please. Thank you. I completely, it slipped my mind. Thank you, Mark. Eddie Orongo, who also used to be Bandito Jr. Remember, John, one of the referees that said, Eddie!
Yeah.
He came through Ace a lot. And also some notable indie names like Azrael has come through there. Crowbar has come through there. Your favorite person of all time, Dominic De Niro, which, by the way, will be there on Saturday.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh, get your ass ready.
There's a few guys on that card who I haven't seen wrestle in. It's been a hot minute.
But yeah, like I said, folks, Ace Pro Wrestling is back. There's no excuses, no bullshit, no. Oh, where can I see Ace? They're not doing tickets online. If you want a guaranteed seat, reach out to them. With a reservation, as they call it.
Oh, Mike Donovan.
Yeah, well, I mean, no disrespect towards Mike Donovan. I'm talking about bigger names. Gangon has been through there.
Rick
Actually,
Recon.
at one point, Gangon was a 2-time Ace Diamond Division champion.
And I still remember the match. I don't remember. Was it the Halloween show where it was Cade versus Dominic?
Yes. Oh, thank you. Jesus Christ, Mark. What are you looking up Wikipedia right now? We've also had Rhino come through there, and also the Cowboy James Storm, which that one was the Cowboy James Storm against Stockade. So Cowboy. Oh, also the Bulldozer Matt Tremont came through there.
Holy crap!
Do you see the impact that Ace has?
Yeah, no, I swear it.
And regardless of all these other promotions I work with, whether it's Deadlock, whether it's Invictus, WrestlePro, Creative Pro, Ace is always number one in my heart.
Is it safe to say Ace sort of? Try the best way to phrase this. Ace is the Ring of Honor of indie wrestling.
Yes.
I just want to explain to people
on the East Coast.
On the East Coast, I just want to explain. You look at Ring of Honor, and I'm not talking the Ring of Honor now, because honestly, the Ring of Honor now to me is a joke.
You're talking like 2009, 2010 Ring of Honor.
When you had Tyler Black, El Generico, Kevin Steen, the Briscoes, what's his face, Brody Lee, and you saw how all of a sudden, if it wasn't for Ring of Honor, we wouldn't have half the guys in WWE that we have, and we wouldn't have half the guys in AEW. Look at Ace. If it wasn't for Ace, look at all the guys you just mentioned. I'm not even talking about the guys you're like your Jay Lethals or your Dijaks. I'm talking about you guys just on the independent level.
Yeah.
Who have made a name for themselves. Your Gangones, your Rick Recons,
Eddie Kingston.
Your Eddie Kingstons. So that's what I was saying. To me, Ace
is, this is gonna sound really cheesy and cliche, kind of like the Ace Hardware commercials, but Ace is the place if you want to get your name, if you want to get recognized in wrestling.
You know what's funny? As we've been talking about
Ace is the place that Hardware. Yeah, I've had it in my head, but no, Ace Pro Wrestling is the place to be if you want to get recognized in pro wrestling. I'm so grateful to still be a part of them after 11 long years.
I also hear they have a very good ring announcer.
He's all right. Yep.
Oh, here's an interesting thing.
Yep, I remember her saying that she was there too.
Yep. But the biggest thing also that I look forward to with going to Ace, I kid you not just only you get good wrestling.
I know where you're going with this.
You also get to hear a phenomenal ring announcer.
You are not going to go with that.
What did you think I was going to go with?
Those freaking empanadas.
Oh yeah, they're good too.
Yeah. Shit, what was I gonna say about that? Not the empanada part, but about Ace. I can tell you about some of the matches that are taking place on that card.
Yeah.
So off the top of my head. Yeah, see, Mark, even better. So
even Billy popped at the empanadas because that's what you remember. That's what you remember Ace for. And actually, I want to give a quick shout out here for a hot second. Cheyenne Ortiz started his own podcast.
I actually finally listened to the one he did with Mike earlier.
That's the one I was about to talk about.
Oh.
The whole story that he explained about the whole empanada thing.
I loved it.
I give him a shit ton of respect. Because how many times have we gone?
I've known the story for a while.
But I just want to bring this point up quickly. You go to independent wrestling, you go to the Mecca, you go to Empire Live, you go to
any W Hall.
Yeah. What's your typical meal choice?
Hot dog or somewhat subpar cooked hot dogs and real or bags of chips or there was another one. Or
pretzels.
Rock hard pretzels.
Or sometimes coffee as well.
It depends on the building, but go on.
But you get Empa freaking nadas.
The story that he which folks, by the way, if you haven't checked it out, definitely check out the following interview?
Yeah, something along the lines of that.
Yeah, the following interview is scheduled for one fall. Hosted by the Golden Voice himself, Cheyenne Ortiz. Especially the one with Mike Morgan, where he went into full detail of how the whole concession thing started. Where it started with not just empanadas, but also started with Italian sausage, burgers, he went all out.
As we're talking about the food, you know what meme I have going through my head?
What?
And you're gonna pop at this one. I have the meme going through my head of Homer Simpson with the drool coming down the side of his mouth.
Yep.
Because that's what you think about when you think of these freaking empanadas.
Oh. Sorry, I know this is a wrestling show, but I kind of want to bring this up now, sports-wise.
Okay.
Breaking news. In the world of baseball.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, according to reports, Orioles ownership has agreement to sell the team.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. We know what that means.
Sorry, folks, just wanted to say because I happened to see that. But anyway.
Yeah, we know what that means.
Oh, and also fries. I forgot he also does fries.
I'm supposed to be
and I think it was 2015, 2016 where he started doing the empanadas at the Morgan Jr. Arena in Wallington, New Jersey. Yes, 1.7 billion.
That's for the Orioles thing.
Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Mark, you know what sucks? I missed the timeline of the Italian sausage sandwich. Because when I started going to Ace as a fan, I think it was 2012. They just lost the building to Union City, and in Union City, it went over to Wallington. I think that's when they started doing just the burgers and the chicken fingers and fries. But stuff like that, you don't really see that at any other indie promotions,
no.
unless you go to like one that has like a full-fledged bar attached to it.
Yeah, you know who the only one that comes to mind for that?
What?
Empire Live.
Venues like that. Even when you and I went to Utica.
Yeah, Utica, same thing.
They had the restaurant in there. Stuff like, but otherwise, everyone gets, the typical hot dog and a handshake.
Which I actually got to experience that on Friday.
I know you did. You're welcome. Yes, John got how many did you get? One or two?
I got one.
Oh, you only got one glizzy? Oh, that's low for you, dude.
Well, because I mean, you know this. I didn't want to try. I'm going to refrain from what I was about to say.
You didn't want to cause an explosion in the sewer line. I said it for you.
That's not what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyway,
I'll leave it at this. My stomach.
Again, explosion in the sewer line.
Bingo.
Yep. Anyway, but yes, folks. Anyway, Ace on Saturday, which, by the way, those freaking empanadas are a major sponsor. And from what I heard, they have 13 different flavors now.
Actually, I want to see if I can pull up the menu.
And potentially a dessert, which I don't know if Mike Morgan is watching this, but I kind of agree with Mr. Cheyenne Ortiz, because if you remember, I think it was last week, talking about the little dessert idea. Okay, you're not listening, John.
Oh, I am. And Mike, I don't know if Mike's watching, but
no, I'm saying, I think he didn't want. Ah!
I'm not even reading Mark's comment now because
But no, folks, definitely those freaking empanadas, delicious. But also, you can see some awesome pro wrestling action, including. You see how I segued into it. They're changing things up for this event, because normally for this event they always do a tournament, a Heroes Cup tournament, but they're changing it up and making the entire show about Mike Morgan Jr., which I think is phenomenal. So, in one matchup, these two have had battles before in the past, and it's good, great friends, better enemies. And Chris Rockwell taking on Rob Vegas in singles action for the Ace Diamond Division Championship, a matchup that should have taken place here in New York, but due to some behind-the-scenes political BS, and never happened. But it's finally happening, first time ever matchup, as the current reigning and defending Ace Diamond Division Champion, with formerly known as Foxy. I think she changed her name. I'll find out more on Saturday. The Asgardian Beast, Cade Lothbrock, defending against nobody's better than Michael Mistretta.
Wait, I thought that's a singles match.
Yeah, it is a singles match.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it was for a title.
It is for a title.
For that, yeah. Okay. I had a brain fart there for a second.
Also, speaking of titles, the current Ace Heavyweight Champion, Vince Steele, issued an open challenge to anybody in the pro wrestling world, and boy, was that answered. All I know is whoever's ring we're using, rest in peace, and we apologize in advance for what's about to take place. because for the Ace Heavyweight Championship, it's going to be the Jurassic Juggernaut, Vince Steele, going one-on-one against Wrecking Ball Legursky.
Oh. Oh, God. I feel sorry not only for the ring, but for that building.
Oh, thank you, Merc. Wait, that's a new thing now?
Yeah, I just saw that one, and
Mike Morgan, if you're watching, please leave a few of those on the side for me. Thank you so much.
And one for me.
Which, by the way, folks, if you didn't see what he said, and I quote, "I can't wait to try the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup cheesecakes empanadas." Huh?
Oh, I'm trying to diet, Mike. I don't want to put on 25 pounds on Saturday.
So at 11:59 tomorrow night, I will be fasting until Saturday.
Oh, geez. Mike, I want to enjoy these, but I don't want to put on 25 fucking pounds.
It's called a cheat day. Use it.
That's a cheat day. That's
I was being nice.
Basically, I eat that. I don't go off another cheat till my birthday at the end of March.
Hey, listen, you live and you learn.
I feel sorry for the bathroom that night.
That building's gone through worse. And speaking of building going through worse, I don't think the building's going to be lasting after this main event. Folks, your main event for Hero Celebration in honor of Mike Morgan Jr. In one corner, you have former Ace Heavyweight Champion. I think he's a 3-time or 4-time Heavyweight Champion. Mark, please correct me if I'm wrong. A man who needs no introduction in a civilized world, but he gets one anyway because he is the fucking man. He is Oh, okay. I actually did not know about that. Thank you very much. Before I continue this long introduction, the Ace Fight for Flight title will be on the line, and it was vacated by Love Jones, so we will have a new Fight for Flight champion on Saturday night. Who will be in that match? Well, you got to come down and find out. It could. I mean, who knows? Maybe two of the competitors are on this screen right now.
I could be.
Maybe. But anyway, Yes, correct. Was it 3 or 4?
Ryan.
He's here, isn't he?
Our second guest has arrived.
Well, can I finish my thing first, and then we can bring the second guest on?
Well, I was going to let you introduce him. Because you're
good. I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Finishing up the main event for Saturday. I believe 3. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. The Bayonne Badass, the Boricua Beast, and the King of the motherfucking North, Danny Moff, going one-on-one against pretty much Ace Original, a former Ring of Honor World Television Champion, a former Ring of Honor World Champion, and current AEW star, Jay Lethal. So, folks, you don't want to miss out on Ace Pro Wrestling. Reach out to them on social media. I see you smirking with the biggest fucking smile on your face because our guest is on right now. So, folks, it is time to bring on one of our featured guests because I don't know where the other one is. So, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to bring on this gentleman. You may have heard his voice in numerous promotions. Hell, you probably could hear him in like 4 states over. But he is the owner and operator of a little-known up-and-coming promotion that's getting a lot of buzz in a phenomenal way in We Are Wrestling, which they will have an event this Friday night in the Boogie Down Bronx at St. Helena's Church. Please welcome the one and only, the voice of a generation, Mr. Pete Rosado.
Thank you, man-child Ryan Peterson. I am so happy to be here. But I believe you were talking about the man who's also a 2-time Ring of Honor World Champion, a 2-time Ring of Honor World Television Champion, a 6-time TNA X Division Champion,
Listen,
Okay.
Pete. We don't have all night here, and plus we wanted to bring you on, so I had to cut it short.
Hey, John. I've spoken to the network. Don't worry, you can go commercial free. You just got to fire Ryan. Do to Ryan like WWE did to Kevin Patrick. That's all you got to do.
And so it begins.
What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
How about turn the volume down from a 9 to a 3?
You knew I was going to come on here. You knew I was going to come on here. You knew I was going to mess with you, Ryan. You know how this goes. Okay.
But in all seriousness, Pete, it's so good to see you, man. It's been too long.
No, it is. Yes, it has been too long. It's because you don't come out to anything that's not within, walking distance of your house in Long Island.
Nah, I've been dealing with some personal issues, and I've been taking taking a step back from civilization for a little while. So, but I'm slowly coming back.
That's understandable, though. Hey, listen, Ryan said some very nice things about me for maybe the 5th time in my life. Let me say some nice things about Ryan. A man who has been a longtime voice of Five Borough Wrestling when it was around. Great man there. A man who you can hear, in the ring at Creative Pro Wrestling. A fantastic school. How they admitted Ryan, I'll never understand, but
I'm still questioning that to this day.
But it's interesting because. And Ryan doesn't know this. I'm saying this for the first time ever. One of the first things I remember when, our ring announcer, Shane Fair, kind of burst onto the scene. As I said, man, he's got that vibrancy that you don't see out of a lot of people. And I used to see it out of Ryan Peterson. And it was that spark that I saw in Shane. It reminded me so much of that spark that I used to see in Ryan, because we talk about Five Borough Wrestling very, very fondly. There's a lot of great memories. Myself, Ryan. When you think of like the legacy of Five Borough, not only like what it's wrestling and what it did, but when you really think about myself, Ryan Peterson, Mittens, Tommy Salami, and Pete Corvus, all 5 of us came out of Five Borough Wrestling, starting as fans and then moving into different aspects of the business. Ryan becoming a ring announcer, not just in pro wrestling, but also in other aspects of ring announcing and presentation. Myself coming in as a photographer, moving my way into commentary, still doing commentary, and now, running my own company, kind of booking my own territory. Like, who would have thought? Tommy and Pete got into wrestling. I know Kevin found his way into refereeing for a little while. Lest I forget Chris Barton,
Yeah,
who was sitting there with us, who's now, tearing up the scene as a tag team and singles wrestler. And then Mikey Mittens, who's basically the most famous celebrity that ever came out of the front row in New York independent. I mean, Mittens is like the Vlad of indie wrestling.
pretty much.
So when you really think about that legacy of Five Borough, not only like what it did in the ring, helping launch the careers of people like Mike Verna and Darius Carter and MJF, Bronson, all these different wrestlers, people that are still out there to this day. It launched the career. JT as well. It was a New York home for him. It also helped launch the careers of 6 people who you would have never thought, when you would have seen us back then, there's no way the 6 of us are involved in professional wrestling. And yet here we are in 2024, still carrying on that legacy. And it's something I hold very dear to my heart. Five Borough is always very close in my thoughts and very dear in my heart when I think about things that I want to do in professional wrestling. In fact, there was a moment in time where I wanted to reach out to Troy, the former owner of Five Borough Wrestling, about buying the Five Borough Championship and actually resurrecting it as a title in We Are Wrestling that would respect and honor the history of the Five Borough title, but also give it new life as the 5-borough championship to represent New York City and We Are Wrestling. But we found a different way. We're going to be able to honor places like 5-borough, even places like FWE, and things that we're going to be doing moving forward. And you'll see those things happening late 2024, going into 2025. But Ryan, thank you. This Friday night in the Bronx, it's gonna be a banger, as the kids say.
Like the name of the show says, don't call it a comeback because you never
Yeah,
went anywhere.
we were supposed to come back in December. That was the original plan, right? Our last show was in September of 2022.
Right.
Deja Vu, headlined by Ruthless Lala versus Mercedes Martinez. First time ever, two 20-year veterans going at it in the ring, as well as Darius Carter versus George South, another first-time ever matchup as well. Rob Killjoy defending the We Are Wrestling Grand Championship for the first time at home against the aptly named number 1 Ichiban, becoming the first at-home challenger, as well as a multitude of other matches that happened that night, which you can all catch live on the Title Match Wrestling Network. But we were originally scheduled to come back December 1st. Our next date was December 1st, 2022, Friday night. Until I got a phone call from one of our fans who said, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know I won't be able to make the next show." And this is a fan that's pretty dedicated. You guys might know him, Henny Wrestling.
Yeah.
And Henny reached out to me. And Henny was like, "Hey, man, I won't be able to make the next show." And I was like, "What happens? Everything okay?" And Henny was like, no, everything's fine. I'm going to SmackDown. And I was like, going to SmackDown? SmackDown's in New York? And he's like, yeah, SmackDown's in Brooklyn. And I was like, wait a minute. So I did my research, and I found out that they had added that date. I think it had initially been somewhere else when I had originally looked up the date, and they moved it. And so the December 1st SmackDown was going to be in Brooklyn, New York, at the Barclays Center. And then literally a couple days later, House of Glory announced that they were also going to run December 1st. They actually were headlined. That was the headline of Santana versus Matt Cardona, as well as having, I believe it was, I forget. Swerve versus Speedball Bailey.
Yep.
And I was just like, okay, listen, I may be a lot of things, and I may be crazy, but I am not suicidal, and I am not running on the same night as both WWE SmackDown and House of Glory.
Yeah.
So we spoke to the church. We tried to postpone literally 1 week later to Friday, December the 8th. Unfortunately, that was a Catholic day of obligation. So the entire school and the gymnasium as well, and the church would have been unavailable to rent. And unfortunately, a lot of the available spaces in the Bronx are also kind of like Catholic affiliated. So we were kind of out of a venue, and I didn't want to go to Jersey because we're trying to really make a solid home in the Bronx. And so we said, all right, we're going to have to come back in 2024, as much as we didn't want to. And there were just no January dates available at the church. And so our first available date that we were able to get was February 2nd. And we said, hey, we're going to have to do it. And I just felt like, man, we've been gone 4 months at that point. And that was, we originally wanted to come back literally 2.5 months later. So yeah, don't call it a comeback. It's aptly named. We were worried. We were very worried about, taking that much time off.
No, I can see that, but I mean, it's a loaded card. I actually have the card up here right now.
See, look at that, Ryan. John's a professional, Ryan.
Yeah, that's why he's more behind the scenes, and I'm on the on-screen type person.
And actually, you mentioned Ichiban, and he's actually set to have a match against the All-Father Darius Carter.
Yeah, first time ever.
Really?
Yeah, first time ever.
That's
Ichiban
surprising.
versus Darius. I said the same thing, but you know what, Ryan? We Are Wrestling has tended to have a knack for these first time ever matchups.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, back at our second show, which I believe you were at, Ryan, Our second show, it was all a dream in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, the night that was headlined by Dan Moff and O'Shea Edwards.
Oh, God. Yeah.
That was the first time ever.
Wow. I'm surprised the building was still standing after that match.
Yeah, that was the first time ever. Let me see. I think we had...
wasn't Mercedes on that card, too?
Mercedes versus Masha. That was match number 2. They had already had a match, I forget, for some promotion, I believe, in South Jersey or Philadelphia. Forget the name of the company. But they'd had a match already there. And then we had the... Say that again?
Match 2 was probably better than the first one.
No, match 1 was really, really good. Match 2 was great. Don't get me wrong. Match 2 was great. But match 1 was really, really good. But we've had a knack for these first-time members. Jay Lethal versus Rob Killjoy on our third show. We ended up with, as you said, Dan Moff and O'Shea Edwards. Speedball Bailey versus Janai Kai in our first show in the Bronx.
Oof.
Mercedes versus Lala. George South and Darius Carter. And now Darius Carter versus Ichiban. And, it's interesting because it's almost as if, and this is interesting, Ryan, because you and I have known Darius for a very, very long time.
Very long.
It's almost as if Darius still hasn't reached his prime. And yet you and I look at Darius Carter and we're like, we don't understand how this guy is not on somebody's television every single week.
I think a lot of people are speculating that same thing as well.
I don't know. I don't know how an MLW and Court Bauer and his team haven't tried picking up a Darius Carter. I don't know why. Listen, it's not like Billy Corgan has a lot of people running to get NWA contracts. I don't understand why, Billy Corgan hasn't, called up a Darius Carter. He'd fit in great with that aesthetic of the NWA. And listen, if Scott D'Amore wants to really talk about crossing the line, bringing back TNA, hey, give us a call. Let's get you in contact with Darius Carter and let's see what happens if Scott D'Amore brings Darius Carter down to the Impact Zone, right? Back to the TNA arenas and see what happens then, right? Even WWE, NXT, AEW, Darius Carter could fit in to any televised wrestling product. And if you want to go one step further, hey, New Japan, right? Darius Carter in New Japan, can you understand how incredible that would be for matchup potential?
Especially New Japan Strong out in California.
Oh yeah, listen, the money I'd pay to see something like a Darius Carter versus a Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh.
A Darius Carter. I mean, I know he's an AEW contracted wrestler right now, but Darius Carter versus Shibata.
Oof.
Or Darius Carter versus Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia and Carter. Give me Moriarty and Carter.
Willie Yuta.
Yeah, there's so many different incredible matchups that have yet to happen for a Darius Carter, including, one against Jay Lethal. I know that was something that Jay Lethal, when he was with us, was like, hey, man, he watched Darius's match earlier that night, and he was like, I'd like to get in the ring with that guy.
I got another one for Darius, and I think this would be not only from an in-ring perspective, but I think promo-wise, it would be top-notch. How about him and MJF?
Oh, man. The funny thing is, when you say that, John, and I'm sure Ryan's thinking exactly what I'm thinking, the way that those two used to circle each other at Five Borough Wrestling, it was almost as if they just never did this. They never touched, never came together.
A massive missed opportunity there. I'll tell you straightforward.
I mean, they were also two of the biggest heels in the company at the time. Not a lot you could,
except for the final show where MJF was a massive babyface. We've been all talking about that.
Oh man, yeah, that was probably the greatest thing in the world.
Oh my god. But John, you said you have the card up, right?
Yeah, I have the card up. I'm just going through here right now. Well, let's get into the championship match. Rob Killjoy defends the title against O'Shea Edwards.
Yeah, I mean, what a second title defense when you think of like home title defense. Only the second time that Rob Killjoy is going to be defending the championship, the grand championship, under the We Are Wrestling umbrella. Now, Rob Killjoy has had, I believe he's up to about 15 defenses outside of We Are Wrestling. He has taken that title everywhere. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia, back and forth. He has defended that title at every opportunity against anybody that has asked for a shot at it. And I and the team at We Are Wrestling are entirely grateful to every single company that has given the We Are Wrestling Grand Championship a stage in their promotion and given it a highlight at their promotion. But also testament to Rob Killjoy being a fighting champion, a traveling champion, and not just waiting for the next We Are Wrestling date to strap the championship on and go and be champion. He's been champion every single day of his reign. But talk about a big obstacle here. O'Shea Edwards, the big bad kaiju, member of the MLW's Boomaye, Boomaye Fight Club. And, this is very interesting because this goes all the way back to the night that Rob Killjoy won the We Are Wrestling Grand Championship back in April of 2022 at There Can Only Be One. O'Shea Edwards was originally scheduled to be a participant in that one-night tournament. Unfortunately, O'Shea Edwards had some other things come up that required his attention, and we had to postpone his involvement in the tournament. And Rob Killjoy went on and won the We Are Wrestling Grand Championship. We don't know if that would have been the case had O'Shea Edwards been in the tournament that night. Maybe O'Shea Edwards would have walked out the We Are Wrestling Grand Champion almost a year ago. But what we do know is that Rob Killjoy did walk out the champion and is walking in to this Friday show and still We Are Wrestling Grand Champion. So, O'Shea Edwards has a lot to prove. And I don't know if you've heard what's been going on social media. Apparently, Rob Killjoy called him a B.I. you-know-what.
Oh, boy.
I don't understand when you get... I've seen O'Shea Edwards on TV. I haven't got a chance to see him in person yet. But with the size of O'Shea Edwards, that would be like me trying to piss off Ryan. Ryan could twist me like a pretzel.
Don't mention pretzels around Ryan. He starts thinking he's getting paid for a booking.
Now, one other thing I actually want to talk about was you were on another podcast with Mr. Raymond Sanchez.
Yes.
And it involves the 6-person tag match involving Ruthless Lala.
It's a tag match.
Yeah, the tag match, yeah.
Yeah. It's a CMD.
Yeah.
Versus Prolific, Lala, and Isaiah Wolf.
But apparently Lala is no longer involved in the match?
Well, no. So,
elaborate more as to
what's been going on.
Yeah.
So, for those of you, yeah. So, unfortunately, Lala, there's been this a lot of weird goings on, right, between Isaiah Wolf, Lala, Tiberius Asante, and Adriana Mosley. This all kind of came to a head at Pro Wrestling R down in Gloucester, South Jersey. Isaiah Wolf, the heavyweight champion over at Pro Wrestling R, Tiberius going after that championship, and each aligned with, Lala and Adriana respectively. And then, come to find out that Lala had been kidnapped. Lala went missing. No one was able to get in contact with her. No one knew what was going on. And we started to see things on social media being released by Tiberius, being released by Adriana Mosley, being released by a bunch of people saying that Lala was being well taken care of, but Lala was in fact kidnapped. No one could get a hold of her. No one knew where she was. And come to find out, Ryan, that Ray Sanchez decided to put his foot in the business.
Oh, boy.
And Ray Sanchez became privy to who exactly had Lala, where she was being held, who was guarding her, all of this information. And Ray Sanchez failed to disclose to multiple people what was going on. And Ray Sanchez became an accomplice to what was happening. And a lot of people would reach out and say, hey, let us know, free Lala, that whole movement, free Lala. And I had an interview scheduled with Ray Sanchez on Respect the Craft. And you know me well enough, Ryan, that I stand on business. I don't just talk, I act.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave Ray Sanchez an ultimatum. And this was on Thursday night of last week. And I said, hey, listen, if Lala is not, first of all, if we don't get information about Lala's whereabouts or Lala's release by noon tomorrow, then officially the announcement would be made, which was made, that if Lala was not released from captivity, if Lala was not physically able to be cleared by doctors and participate in the match this upcoming Friday, then Ray Sanchez would have to take her place and team with Isaiah Wolf against CMD. And because I'm such a giving person, I said to Ray, it doesn't end there. After that, you, Ray, would have to pay your own personal penance for doing all of this stuff, for putting your foot in the business that it didn't belong in. And so I told him that if it came to pass that Lala was not able to compete next Friday, this upcoming Friday, that at our April show, when we return to St. Helena's, Ray Sanchez would find himself in a one-on-one match against a man you were just talking about, the Bayonne Badass, Danny Moss. But I was nice, and I offered to let Ray pick the stipulation for the match. I said, Ray, you can either have a no disqualification match, or you could have a lumberjack match. Your choice.
Oh, jeez.
But here's my additional question to that. With the type of person that Ray Sanchez is, you think he'd be the type of person that could bribe someone to not only take his spot in said tag match? That way he won't have to worry about that way he won't have to worry about stepping in the ring himself. Or if it had to come to the one-on-one match with Danny Moff, he wouldn't have to step in himself and just pay someone else to do it for him.
Ryan, how long have you known Dan Moff?
Yes. There's my answer.
Exactly. So do you think Dan Moff would allow Ray to be able to do that?
Oh boy, what was I thinking? Sorry. Well, Ray, it's a nice knowing you, buddy.
But Ray did find his way out of trouble. Lala returned this past Saturday at Ridgefield Park at Pro Wrestling Magic in the Chad Adams Memorial Rumble. Apparently, I guess Ray was sleeping on the job because they left Ray to guard Lala. And Ray fell asleep on the job. He out here looking like Terry Taylor back in the 1980s with his new Red Rooster haircut. I don't know if Ray is, going to try to be a hair model, or if he's trying to be the new mascot for Chick-fil-A.
Well, I think I'm not defending Ray, but if it was me and I'm told, yeah, I could potentially have a no disqualification match against Danny Moff and basically write my own funeral. If it was me, I'd sit there and go, okay, Lala, you're free. I'm done.
Hey, listen, that would have been the smart thing to do. So if that's what Ray did, he may have finally smartened up for the first time in a long time and did the right thing because, let's just say I sent we made a graphic for the match for Ray Sanchez versus Dan Moff, and I just so happened to accidentally send it to Dan Moff to see what he would think about it, and I should say Dan was very intrigued by the possibility of raising some hell on a Ray Sanchez.
John, go ahead.
I think I learned a valuable lesson. You don't want to piss people off in the wrestling because you'll get put into a match with Danny Moff and then you might as well be done.
Listen, I'm trying to figure out when Ryan's going to get into a match with Danny Moss.
On the 12th of never. Let's put it that way.
Well, Pete, for some reason, every promoter has tried to put me versus Ryan in a match.
Oh God, don't get ideas into his head.
I would, that'd be nice, but I'd have to add a stipulation to that. It'd have to be an old-fashioned tuxedo match.
That'll be my third tuxedo match I would be put into.
You know, if you wanted, we can do a great tag team match, the War of the Podcast. We could have Jon and Ryan versus, Ray Sanchez and Toe Tags from the Knucklehead Podcast.
Jeez.
Nah, if we're doing that, give us the Bob Culture boys.
Oh, you don't want them. You don't want that triple threat match. You don't want that.
Listen, I know that one of them, really can't do anything without the other. Just saying.
Yeah, but listen, Bob himself lives with one of the most aptly named vicious women in all of New York, New Jersey independent wrestling.
Of course.
Okay, so if you think he hasn't picked up a trick or two, and who was she trained by the way? Oh, right, Dan Moss.
Wow.
Okay, so here we go again, Ryan. You're just finding ways to get in the ring, de facto with Dan Moss.
Well, I was going to say, if there's a podcast, Brian, that we can do a tag team match with, I think there's a main event podcast we can tag team up against.
That's too easy. That's like putting the Great Khali against Hornswoggle.
Hey, I'd take Hornswoggle in that one.
Not in this matchup we're thinking of.
I'd take Hornswoggle in that one. But, John, you asked about Darius and Ichiban, and we talked about how that was a first-time ever matchup. But what's another first-time ever matchup on this show? The matchup of, and this one, again, one of those where it's like these guys kept circling each other, and you don't realize this is the first-time ever match. Jared Diaz, one-on-one against Dustin Waller.
Oof. That's Dustin Waller, one half of one of the more popular tag teams out of New England, the Miracle Generation.
Yep.
And the closer, Jared Diaz. Wow.
Yeah,
especially with Dustin Waller's recent matchup this past weekend against Alex Ryman in Pro Wrestling Magic.
Oh, an incredible match.
Very insane. Which I'm surprised We Are Wrestling hasn't brought Alex Ryman in.
Well, it's interesting because it's the old saying in wrestling, right? There's you can't book everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there will be a spot for Alex Ryman. I mean, Alex Ryman has been on a We Are Wrestling show before. Alex Ryman was actually on that same show. It Was All a Dream against Prolific. Back when him and Steve Off were still friends.
Oh, when they were AMS.
Yes.
I honestly, you know what? It's been a long time since I've seen AMS, involved in anything. And when and which also on the side note, friend of the show, Jumbo Man says hi.
Hey, Jumbo Man, Jumbo Riff.
But there's another match that kind of caught my eye looking at the match card here. And Ryan, you actually know, I think, not only do you know, but I think you've worked with every single person in this match. And that's the 6-man tag match featuring Anthony Gamble, Jorge Santi, Colossal Mike Law on one team versus Victoria.
Yep, the team of Lucas Chase and the Brick City. No longer the boys, by the way. No longer the boys.
No longer boys. They've grown up.
Yeah, they have grown up. No, it's listen, this is a vicious match, and at the opening of the show on Friday, we myself and the general manager of BST Wrestling in Connecticut, Blood, Sweat, and Tears Wrestling, Dat Girl Cece, we will be coming to the ring to outline exactly what the stipulation is for this match. See, because this has been a war going on between Anthony Gamble and Lucas Chase that stems all the way back to our first show in the Bronx back in October of 2021.
Wow.
Okay. Our first show in the Bronx, Anthony Gamble and Lucas Chase went one-on-one. Anthony Gamble coming out with the victory. Since then, Lucas Chase has not let that go. The fact that his first match ever in his hometown of the Bronx, he took a loss to Anthony Gamble. And so Lucas Chase and Gamble have been going back and forth with each other up until last October, last September, literally the week after our last show. Anthony Gamble took it upon himself to drive all the way to Connecticut. Okay, mind you, I'm busy doing commentary. I do commentary for BST. On that night, I am an employee of the company. You know how it is, Ryan, right? We're an employee of the company, and we're there doing our jobs, right? And I'm sitting in the balcony doing commentary with my commentary partner, Manny Sierra, at BST Wrestling. And what happens in the main event, the four-way main event, where Lucas Chase is defending his BST championship? Anthony Gamble storms through the crowd and attacks Lucas Chase in the ring, laying him out, leading to Bobby Buffet pinning Lucas Chase and becoming the brand new BST heavyweight champion. And, you know, at that moment, again, I'm an employee of the company. I'm not the promoter. I'm not the owner. I'm not the guy running the show. And so I've got my boss, that girl Cece, coming up to me, asking me what the hell I'm doing, thinking I'm involved, thinking I set this up. So myself and Cece, we finally were able to get together and talk it out, and cooler heads prevailed. But myself and Cece came to a decision. And we said, hey, listen, here's what we'll do. We'll do this 6-man tag team match at the next We Are Wrestling show. But there will be a wrinkle in that match. There will be a stipulation which we both jointly agreed to. And whichever team wins this match, Lucas Chase, Anthony Gamble, will get a choice. They will have a choice to make, one of those two men, at the end of that match. And this war between Gamble and Lucas will come to an end one way or another in April at our next We Are Wrestling show. How that war is going to come to an end, we'll have to wait and
see. And folks, you're not going to want to miss it. Pete, I got one more match I want to talk to you about, and that's Jay Lyon taking on Nino Cruz, which, by the way, Nino Cruz will have Chris Barton in his corner.
Yeah, and that's Nasty Nino Cruz and Chris Barton. These two young men, the team Riz and Nasty. And as you know, Chris Barton, longtime tag team specialist with Dominic De Niro for a very, very long time. And those two men decided to go their separate ways and kind of focus on some different things. And it just so happened that Barton was up in Canada at Super Kicked in Canada. And they needed Barton to team with Nino. They said, hey, we have a situation. We need somebody to step up in this tag team match. Would you mind teaming with Nino Cruz? And Barton he said, sure. Wasn't really super enthusiastic about it to begin with. He was like, I came here. I'm supposed to have a singles match. You know, this is not happening now. I'm in this tag match. Fine. But after that tag match was over, Barton couldn't stop raving about the almost instantaneous chemistry that him and Nino Cruz had. And from that moment, Riz and Nasty was born. And they've done a lot of their work in Super Kick. And they're looking to bring the team to American soil, to a lot of the promotions that Barton has been a part of. And Barton, you know, this was originally going to be a match for Chris Barton. It was going to be Chris Barton versus Jay Lyon. And Barton said, hey, you know what? I want Nino to get this spot. I want Nino to get this exposure. Everybody in We Are Wrestling knows who I am. I want them to know who Nino is before Riz and Nasty take over as a team.
And just happened, I know I said that was my last match. There's another match you have here, which is this a first-time match again with Prince Ahmed taking on
It is. It is. And when you think almost a 20-year veteran in Azriel, You'd think he'd run the gauntlet against everybody. But yes, it's first time ever. Prince Ahmed, the torture artist himself, one-on-one against the Ring of Honor original, former tag team partner of Mr. Jay Lethal, Azrael. And you listen, I don't know if anybody's seen Azrael lately, but when you usually say that somebody's been in the game for 20 plus years, you start to see guys slow down. They do less. They work smarter, not harder, right? You know, all that good stuff. Azrael is still running pedal to the metal, foot on the gas. He can go with the best of them. In fact, at our last show in New Jersey, Azrael went one-on-one against Vinny Pacifico. And when I tell you, he had Vinny Pacifico sucking wind midway through that match. And that's hard to do, Ryan. You've seen Vinny perform a bunch of times. It's hard to get Vinny gassed.
It is.
You know, and Az was able to do it, and Az is willing to go up against the very best of them at any point. And I think this match may be the low-key sleeper of the night. This might be the match of the night right here. Prince Ahmed versus Azrael. But let's not forget that huge 6-train scramble match. Sebastian Cage, Eden, Stan Michael, the cheapskate, Matt Rivera, the hype beast, Ben Rutten, and the harvester of sorrows herself, the one, the only, you know, the PPW women's champion, Sammy Chaos, the lone woman in that match. And she has put every single person in that match on notice. There's a lot going on this Friday night. We have some special announcements to make as well. You know, but also don't forget, probably the match that I'm surprised none of you wanted to talk about, and definitely surprised Ryan didn't want to talk about it. Jay Bougie versus Matt Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
These two have been going back and forth on social media for months, and it comes to a head in the Bronx, in both of these men's hometown, this Friday night. Listen, front row sold out. Front row is sold out already. Still got general admission tickets left. Go on Eventbrite, okay? We Are Wrestling on Eventbrite. Get your tickets today, or just come to the building. Doors open at 7 p.m. Show starts at 8. Come to the building, St. Helena's Church, 1315 Olmsted Avenue. We have parking, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're coming from Long Island and you want to come over the Whitestone Bridge or the Throgs Neck Bridge, we got parking. We got a big old parking lot. You want to come in from Manhattan? Hey, there's a train right there, the 6 train. Take that right over to Castle Hill or Parkchester. We're right in the middle. There's food all around the venue. There's food at the venue. Food and drink in the venue. That's right. We serve alcohol. Come on now. What night could get any better? Friday night with wrestling, food, and drink. It's going to be a great night this Friday. The only thing that makes this night so much better, there's one bad thing and there's one good thing about Friday night. The bad thing is John Blaine won't be there. That breaks my heart. You know, anytime I get an opportunity to have John Blaine in the house, I'm happy. But the good thing, Ryan Peterson won't be there.
I knew you were going to go with that after you said that about Blaine. I knew you were going to say that.
Ryan Peterson won't be there, so I can guarantee you that because Ryan Peterson won't be there, we will have time for one more match.
Son of a bitch.
It's interesting, Ryan also, I think Ryan's avoiding me because Ryan also won't be in Union, New Jersey tomorrow night. No, 2 nights from now, on Thursday night at the Columbia Club for Shotgun Thursday night.
Here's the thing. I don't really announce Shotgun. My other colleague over at WrestlePro, Frank Myers, does.
I know, but you should just be there to be there.
Especially with that card, especially with the women's championship match that just got changed.
I mean, come on now. Think about this.
By the way, John, if you haven't heard, originally it was supposed to be Lana Cross defending the title against Lady Frost. However, apparently Lady Frost is in Australia right now. So taking her place, it'll be Lana Cross versus the woman of 1,000 holds, Serena Deeb.
Wow.
Yeah. And I cannot wait. I am going to be there in that building. It's going to be my first ever shotgun. Can't wait to be in Union, New Jersey this Thursday night. And then I get to go to the Bronx to my own show. We Are Wrestling's Don't Call It a Comeback. And trust me, there are going to be some big announcements that we're going to drop this Friday night. Not only will we announce our next date, which we will tell you it's in April, but we'll tell you the exact date in April for our next show, but some big announcements dropping on Friday. Let's just say maybe some new titles coming this year.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? You have to find out on Friday.
And guys, again, it's We Are Wrestling presents Don't Call It a Comeback because they've been here for years. I'm sorry, I had to go that way.
I'm going to be very, very interested to see if John's going to be able to correctly pronounce the name for our next show.
Oh no!
Oh crap! So I guess next week, after it's announced on Friday, Ryan, I guess I'll have a segment on the show where I try to pronounce their next show.
It'll be the hooked on phonics section.
Might need some Duolingo.
Exactly.
But Pete, it's always a blast having you on. But Ryan, I think it's also safe to say we can also wrap up the show.
Hey, that's fine with me.
There you go. You know, for the voice of a generation, Pete Rosado, for the Corey Graves of everybody's heart, John Blaine, right over here. And for this man, the Kevin Patrick of the Independents. We don't need him.
Ryan, why don't you sign us?
If you're gonna do it right, at least call me the Byron Saxton of it, okay?
As long as I can be Pat McAfee.
Oh, that's fine. You're more energetic than me anyway.
Let's go, man.
Well, because the thing is, we can hear Pete Rosado, and we could be 3 states away.
Let's go.
I think they heard him at the Rumble down in Florida. No, but folks, like John said, I think it's time to wrap things up. Again, Pete, even though you always bust my balls, it's always good to see you, my man. It really is. And definitely check out We Are Wrestling, one of the top premier, and I say that term very, very exclusively, premier promotions in the tri-state area, in the 5 boroughs, pretty much bringing back wrestling back down to the Boogie Down Bronx this Friday night. And also, Pete will be there at Shotgun Thursday night for WrestlePro, where there'll be a shitload of titles on the line. So definitely go check that out in Union, New Jersey. You can catch myself at Ace on Saturday for Hero Celebration, which, we don't know if Pete will be there or not, but I know I'll be there, and so will John.
If I'm awake, I'll be there.
That's a good answer. If you're coherent, that's good enough for me.
Right.
And John?
The only thing we have I'll be a fan at a couple of upstate shows coming up. But Ryan, the big thing that I'll be a part of, actually you'll be a part of as well, April 4th.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're still promoting that now. Yeah, on April 4th. Not only will this podcast be a part of it, but also I will be one of the announcers, probably the only announcer, for RexFest, which takes place on Thursday, April 4th, in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, during WrestleMania week.
Ryan, are you talking about this graphic right here?
Oh, okay, yeah, that graphic, live from the Arts Ballroom in Philadelphia. It's RexFest, featuring Crown of Maine Wrestling, Fighting Spirit Wrestling. Yes, I did say that name, Pete. That's a little blast from the past. And
very much is.
And a few other promotions still to be determined. So if you're in I think they have full day tickets as well as single event tickets on sale. Definitely give them a follow. Definitely give them a follow.
But also, John? If you're not in the area, you can also stream it as well. because this little podcast will be the official post show of RexFest happening in Philly, as Ryan said, April 4th. I think from what I know time-wise, I think we're going 7 to 7:30, but we'll know more about that as we get closer to it. But again, guys, appreciate all the support. It means a lot. Ryan, actually, did want to make one quick mention. UWE Rewind, our other new wrestling show, gets started tomorrow night, 9 p.m. First guest on that show will be UWE owner and promoter Craig Palmer. So you're not going to want to miss that. Again, that happens tomorrow night live right here on this same channel, 9 p.m. Eastern. But for Pete Rosado, it's actually the most quiet I've ever heard him in the year I've known him.
And by the way, folks, it's not Rosario, as some people call him.
Hey, the Papa Denk sometimes has a problem with the talking,
For Ryan Peterson, I'm John. This has been another episode of Around the Ropes podcast. Catch you guys next time. English.